Warm welcome. Welcome to the ICLEI World Congress Solution Showcase, Smart Scalable Solutions for Sustainable Urban Development. My name is Ingmar Rentzhog, and I'm the founder and CEO of the We Don't Have Time platform. We are a platform for climate solutions. And during this session, we will hear about amazing solution in energy efficiency, climate action planning, integrated sustainability, blue-green infrastructure, climate data, and circularity. Following the pitch sessions you will hear here today, you will be able to dig deeper in workshops after this session we have here. But before we start, I would like to give you a short explanation about what We Don't Have Time is all about by showing a short film.
We grow up and we play. We invent new ways of doing things and we collaborate. We prepare for that special date and we care for each other. We do whatever it takes, but our world is on fire and our future is at stake. We don't have time to wait, but no country, business, or individual can fix this on their own. Together, we can set things straight. Let's act. Through the power of many, we can make change happen. Let's encourage sustainable solutions. Let's suggest new ways of doing things and demand bad practices to stop. We all unite behind the one thing that matters, to save our world. Will you join us?
So, what We Don't Have Time is all about is that we're a review platform. When our community, when our members see someone doing climate action, implementing solution, they give them climate love. Let more people know about it and reward them for the action. And when they see something, a leader, a corporation, an organization, or a government that are not doing it, that are doing something bad, they could give them climate warning instead. So with the help of this system, we are really speeding up change. And that's in our name. We don't have time to wait. We really need to do things faster. And right now, I am traveling around Europe by train. That's one of the reasons I'm here in Malmö. Raising funds to We Don't Have Time. We're a startup. So I'm meeting so many impact investors and other kind of investors. And before I explain to them what we are doing, I'm always asking quite difficult question. I will ask it here today as well. And the question goes, how big chances they think there are that we will reach the emission targets in the Paris Agreement? And it's very depressing. The answer is maximum 25%. And this is from people deeply involved in trying to transform our society. People really don't think we can do this. And I think it's a big danger in that. Because if we don't think we can win, it's very hard to win. Myself, I'm totally convinced, it's 100%. We're going to reach the emission targets. The challenge is, will we do it on time? That is something we really need to work on to speed up. So we need to implement all the solutions while we still have time. And therefore, I'm super happy to have with me here today 6 amazing solutions that we can implement that is here today, not something that we're doing in the future, it's something we're doing here today. And I would like to introduce our first solution maker, Anette Blücher from E.ON.
Thank you.
And before you will do your 3-minute pitch, I have this question for you. And now you're part of my research because I'm going to publish all of these answers. What's your number? How big do you think the chances are that we will reach the emission targets?
I'm with you. I'm 100% convinced that we will be sustainable, I would say, definitely. And the reason for that, I actually also think that you have found in your discussions with the investors, because it is sustainability equals profitability, right?
Yeah.
So as long as the banks in London, who is providing a lot of companies and cities in the world with actually that it has to be sustainable. That is what is driving this. So that is my hope.
I like the answer, and the stage is yours.
Thank you. It's really worrying time, don't you think? It's war not too far away from us in kilometers in Sweden. It's very uncomfortable. We also have world leaders who is actually around the world controlling the natural resources in a way that it hasn't been done for a number of years. This is, of course, affecting the economy, and it's also affecting the energy and the energy prices. And I think some of you are also very worried, not only from a private perspective, but also from your city's perspective about how the prices are increasing. I cannot do anything about the macro environment that we are living in, but I can offer you a teaser for a solution which should actually decrease the usage of energy into your buildings with 70%. The solution that I'm going to show you, and my colleagues is going to show you more details in some minutes, it's called ectogrid. And it's a Swedish innovation made here in Malmö by my colleagues, and it's also up and running, so we can show you that it's proven. So what does it do? We actually have a scalable, low-temperature solution which is using heating and cooling in the same system. It's a closed system, perfect for a city quarter in any city of the world. So what we do is actually that we have heat pumps or chilling machines to each building in these city quarters that is steering in between, sharing, and we also have an accumulator tank connected to this where we can store the energy. Does it sound complicated? Well, it's actually future-proof as well. So we can steer it. You don't even have to think about it. And we can visualize for you as well how we steer it. Based on the outside temperature, on how much renewable energy that is in the system, and how much the building is needed of the heating and the cooling. This is made not only for new build, it's also made for retrofit. Very important from my perspective that it works for retrofit as well. So this is a solution for the future. It will lead the way. It will not follow sustainability. If you're curious to know more, please follow me after my colleagues here have set their pitches into the rooms in level number 1. Live 1 and 2, you will find us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anette. And now I would like to introduce our next speaker, Orren Shalit. And over the last 30 years, Orren Shalit has worked as an advisor for many of the Nordic region's largest companies and organizations. In this role, Orren has led hundreds of projects, resulting in the creation of new products, services, business models, and citizen benefits. Orren is now applying his experience to ClimateView, a Swedish climate action technology company that we're going to hear a lot more about. And the first time I met your co-founder, it was the only thing that existed was a blueprint on the conference table. And I was blown away by the story back when, and I'm going to be even blown more away today because you're a global company now and you're helping so many more with their solutions. So warmly welcome.
Thank you. So we all know about climate change, and we all know that it's happening now, and we've seen the flood of reports. And we all know that we have to gear into actions, and actions are not enough and not in place, and we have to do something about it. We also know that the world is speaking about economy the same usual way, for good and for bad, that we need financial growth. So the question is, how do we combine financial growth with the green economy? And this is what we focus on. I'm Orren Shalit. I'm from ClimateView. I'm the community director. And we're a Swedish climate tech company working with digitalizing climate plans. What we're doing is a platform, a digital platform, of course, of enabling cities to create, implement, and follow up on action plans. That's ClimateOS. And the question is, how do we actually do it? Because there is a problem. We have an incredibly complex world. I mean, when we're looking at banks and talking to banks, they're actually saying us, you know, the money is there. We have the finance so that we can invest in green solutions. But we have a problem. And what is the problem? The problem is to distinguish between greenwashing and projects that actually lead to green economy, to reducing carbon. And this difficulty banks have, but all of us have. Why? Because cities are incredibly complex systems. They have so many stakeholders. And cities are saying, we have all this data, but it's not connected. And some cities are saying, we have good data set, bad data set here, but it's not connected. So one thing we're hearing all the time is data isn't connected. And another thing we're hearing is, how do we work with all those different stakeholders? So this is basically what we're trying to do with ClimateOS. We're trying to create a platform that will handle this incredible complexity, that will enable stakeholders, you and other stakeholders within the council and outside of the councils, to work together. One way of putting it, it's about creating a common language, but more than that, it's about creating a map and a compass so that we can all work together in collaboration towards climate neutrality. This is what ClimateOS does, and what we're aiming for now is not only doing a climate plan, but actually deliver a data-driven, credible investment plan that really attracts funding and enables action. We have already today 140 cities all around the world working with us, and we have some incredible partnerships with those different cities working and learning together. One of those cities is Malmö. We are working tightly in sprints with Malmö, week by week. And one of the things I would like to tell you about is this work with Malmö. We have also some other great collaborations with Microsoft, with CDP, with WWF, with We Don't Have Time. And all of this is pushing all of us together forward. So the workshop is going to be about ClimateOS, and of course I'm going to demo some of the stuff, but what I want it to be is an interactive workshop where you will be able to think and hopefully also be challenged. We'll be looking at the success factors for actually building and succeeding in implementing a climate plan. Hope to see you there.
Orren, we are short on time, but before you're going to sit down, what's your number?
Do you want an optimistic, pessimistic, or realistic view?
I want your personal view about this.
Well, it's going to be a realistic one, and it's 27.1.
Okay, you're the mathematician, maybe. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next speaker, Johan Niss, welcome up to the stage. I will introduce you. And you're a conservation biologist working with strategic planning and coordination of regional green infrastructure action plan in Skåne.
That's you.
That's you. But we could switch order. I hope it works.
Oh yeah,
technology.
that's mine. That's mine.
Sorry for that. But maybe if you go up here and we take you afterwards, it will be better introduced, if that is technical possible. Now when okay. We do this again. Jonas, not Johan.
Jonas, yes.
Welcome, Jonas.
Thank you.
You have nearly 20 years of experience from publicly owned organization, of which 12 years in the real estate sector. And you have worked as business controller, CFO, and business developer. What are you doing today?
I work as a business development director at MKB. MKB is owned by the city of Malmö. And we have 26,000 apartments here in Malmö.
It will be really interesting to hear your solution. But before that, Are you positive or negativist regarding the emission targets?
I'm always optimistic. I think we all have to accelerate, we all have to cooperate better, and therefore 100%.
Thank you, and
Thank
the
you.
floor is yours.
Successful sustainability work requires simultaneous multitasking in all three areas of ESG, environment, social, and governance. Borrowing a concept from the sports world, we at MKB see our work as a sort of triathlon for sustainability. We have to be good at many things over time, but without necessarily being the world champion in any individual area. As I told you, my name is Jonas. I'm the Business Development Director at MKB. MKB is owned by the City of Malmö. Some 60,000 residents live in one of our more than 26,000 apartments. We are owned by the City of Malmö, but operate on commercial terms. I would like to present several sustainability initiatives that MKB conducts in parallel, which each action supports the others. Our environmental sustainability works requires all the area from the construction process and the building materials we use. To climate-proof our residential neighborhoods, we are investing in a large number of trees. We're planting trees all over Malmö. And therefore, the temperature rising and the increasing rainfalls will get better. Our tenants must also be able to lead climate intelligent lives. Therefore, we are investing in mobility solutions. Malmö is a great city for biking, and MKB is contributing to this by offering bike pools, not at least a bike school. Being able to ride your bike wherever you need to go supports more than the climate. It brings freedom and better employment opportunities. MKB is doing more than building the city physically. We are connecting areas socially and strengthen our tenants' opportunity for work and education. We are working with the children and young people to develop their skills in the future. For this, we are working with homework help in large number of Malmö schools. Teenagers who raise their grades earn the opportunity to work at MKB during the summer. I hope you will join our workshop. There we will delve into these three examples: tree planting, homework help, and mobility and bike school. Thank you for listening, and welcome to room live 4.
Thank you, Jonas. And now we have Johan.
Thank you.
Niss.
Yes.
Sorry for the mistake.
No problem.
But if we're going to solve the climate crisis and the planetary crisis, we can't do everything perfect. We just need to do it. And I'm leading by example here. You are a conservation biologist working with strategic planning. And before you do your solution pitch, what's your number?
I was fingering on 0, unfortunately, because I'm quite pessimistic, but not to lower the atmosphere. I give it a 20%.
Sorry?
A big 20.
Big 20.
Yes.
So by just inviting you here, you have been 20% more optimistic. That's at least something.
Exactly. That means a lot. Thank you, Ingmar. And ICLEI to give me this opportunity to present our work on green infrastructure. I work at the regional county administrative board of Skåne with nature conservation and strategies to safeguard our biodiversity and ecosystem services. As we all know, it's a big challenge to reverse the ongoing extinction of our biodiversity. Working with the blue-green infrastructure as a concept and strategy is one of our tools to find new ways for cooperation and more effective actions on the regional as well as a local level. At our workshop, we will present what is needed to do and how we do this here in Skåne when working with the blue-green infrastructure. And we also very much like to hear about other initiatives and ideas for strengthening and preserving the biodiversity and ecosystem services that we are so dependent on. My colleagues Mats and Shoshana at the city of Malmö, a city that has taken several good initiatives for biodiversity, they will present a local ongoing project on how to increase the biodiversity in the city by transforming so-called green asphalt, that is green areas with very low biodiversity, into more biodiverse areas, meadows. Me personally engaging in this green infrastructure and sort of saving the world is more that I have a personal engagement of very much liking nature. So that's my driving force personally. And thank you again, and hope to talk to many of you to find inspiration and new solutions to the biodiversity and climate crisis. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
And our next speaker is Anna Williams from Google.
Yes.
And you live in London.
I'm sorry?
You live in London.
I live in London.
And you're a lead solution for Google Environmental Insights Explorer.
Yes, it's a mouthful.
And we will hear more about what that is.
Yes.
And this Explorer is something that works in Europe, Middle East and Africa.
I support that region. It's actually a global product.
It's a global product.
Yes.
The stage is yours, but before you do your pitch, are you positive or negative regarding the mission targets at Google?
As a data provider, I'm really inspired by the progress that we have made in this space in terms of providing data and insights, along with similar folks in our field, to help unblock a lot of the challenges that cities and others have faced in terms of understanding baseline emissions and strategizing, and also just providing transparency. So I would say I am positive. I'm optimistic.
And if you give him a number?
It's hard to quantify, but I'll go with 60. Going
Okay.
high. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. And that is Google answer, 60%.
Not Google endorsed, but... So at Google, we are really committed to environmental sustainability. And in 2020, we laid out our third decade of climate actions with ambitious commitments to help build a carbon-free future for everyone. And this includes helping cities and local governments reduce 1 gigaton of carbon emissions annually by 2030 and beyond. As we know, cities can be the most sustainable way for people to inhabit our planet. If we address the fact that they currently contribute 70% of the world's CO2 emissions, and many of them lack the data and technology needed in order to make progress on their climate commitments. However, what could be considered a challenge could also be a tremendous opportunity. Cities can be the world's pioneers in climate action, and they can also drive resilience within their economies. And this is why we created a product called the Environmental Insights Explorer, which again, a mouthful, so I'll say we also refer to it as EIE. EIE uses exclusive Google data sources and modeling capabilities in a freely available platform to help cities measure their emissions, run analyses, and identify strategies for reducing emissions, thereby creating a foundation for effective action. The core of the insights provided by EIE are from Google's geographical data. And when many of you think about Google Maps, you probably think about getting from point A to B or looking up information about a place you want to visit. But looking more closely, Google Maps actually provides rich information about the places around us. The size and location of buildings, aggregated transportation data, or overhead imagery. And while this data is primarily used to help people find and explore the world within Google Maps, when you aggregate that at a city scale, it can provide powerful insights to inform climate action. So powered with these insights, EIE supports cities across 4 key areas of climate action: to measure, plan, act, and track emissions year over year, supporting cities across this multi-stage process, whether that be to establish an understanding of their baseline emissions, to plan and implement climate interventions, or to track progress on their programs. Within EIE, cities have the ability to estimate building emissions, measure annual transit activity, and identify CO2 reduction opportunities using rooftop solar potential data. We're also expanding EIE insights to include tree canopy and air quality data. And today I'm excited to announce that soon we will be releasing 2021 mobility data to over 40,000 cities and communities within EIE. And this is going to support local governments to perform year-over-year analyses over a 4-year period to help them measure meaningful progress on their climate action efforts. To learn more about EIE, I invite you to visit our stand in the exhibition hall and also to join our workshop following this, where we'll be joined by the cities of Malmö and Izmir to dive a bit deeper into how EIE can accelerate climate action in cities. Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, we have Magash Naidoo from ICLEI Circular Development Work. And you've been working a lot in this field with over 14 years experience from Efink municipality in South Africa and in multiple departments such as the Energy Office, where he worked as thematic areas such as green economy, and he also holds a doctorate of business from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. I'm really looking forward to hear your solution. But before that, are you a pessimist, optimist, or something else? What do you think about that number?
I don't know about something else, right? So I want to say 110%.
That's something else.
The reason...
This is the first time I asked this question to hundreds of people, and no one has answered more than 100%. I like that answer, and I'm really curious about how you motivated it.
I think it's very simple. If we look around here, we have so much of expertise and enthusiasm to want to continue life as we know it. So I have faith in everybody here that we're going to find a solution. It's that simple.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. So this is 50 euros, right? It's not a fake, it's real. And I'm going to crumple it up. And we tried to get a bin up here, but crazy, right? Unthinkable. But what if I said we do this on a daily basis? We constantly throw away goods that have usable and financial value. And we've been conditioned to become a wasteful society. And our economy is organized around the same principles of take, make, waste. So what can we do to change this? And we will talk about some of the issues we face. And over 90% of biodiversity loss is due to extraction for these resources we need for the weird and wonderful goods that we use on a daily basis. 45% of these global emissions cannot actually be solved through renewable energy and energy efficiency, but they need circular solutions. Most of the waste, more than 2 billion tons globally, are because of these single-use goods and go straight into landfill. So some of the issues we're currently facing. So we see cities at the forefront of these impacts and largely triggered by the linear economy of take, make, waste. But cities also at the forefront of innovating and bringing us to, or transitioning to maximize value, whether it is financial or utility. How does the cities do this? So they transition to a circular future through planning, regulatory environments, and tools at their disposal, and not just their procurement power, but also their waste management practices. But importantly, stakeholders at the core of this, because cities can't do it on their own. So impacting entire supply chains are vitally important for us to transition away from this linear model. So as part of the Circular Lab for Cities program, ICLEI has partnered with Circular Economy, Metabolic, and the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which we'll hear from in a little bit. And we've joined forces to combine our experience and expertise to work on circular transitions in designing tools and resources that support circular development. So our first step along this journey was to develop Circular City Actions Framework, which was launched towards the end of last year. And this framework is structured according to 5 complementary strategies, the 5 R's, which we'll go into in a little bit. So across our network of 2,500 local governments, we've seen concrete examples of how strategies translate into practice. And this is why Circular Economy and ICLEI have joined forces to create a digital platform called Ganbate, which allows cities to access these best practices and identify the ones that are best suited to their context based on the screening of where cities currently are. And this screening essentially allows cities to approach the circular journey in a very resource efficient and capacity efficient manner. So we're currently piloting this tool with 10 cities. So during the workshop, which is happening in this room in a few minutes, we'll also introduce you to a tool currently being developed by Metabolic. And this tool is to support city-to-business collaboration on the circular economy and monitor the circular impacts of existing businesses in your city. So we look forward to chatting with you in a little bit in this room. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thanks to all of you and those solutions. And thank you to you in the audience, because I think you had, can I say this? I think you had the best answer. And I mean, all the answers were good, but this is the winner. And the reason why I think that is that it's not us here on stage that is going to do this. It's all of us. We need to be many people. And I talked to the organizers, and they told me that you are more than you used to be. So the number of people involving in climate action, in protecting our planet, building our future, are growing. And that's why I am 100% sure that we're going to do this. And I've been active in this field. I was used to work in the finance industry before I found that we don't have time 5 years ago. And it has happened a lot in just 5 years. And one example is that I've seen the interest from many, many people has grown exponentially. The very first digital broadcast We Don't Have Time hosted, we actually did a broadcast before Corona that was 100% digital, and no one was flying. They were just coming in live like we are used to now on Zoom, etc. We had 10,000 viewers. We were super proud, reached more than 50 countries. That was back in 2018 on Earth Day. Last year, we had 5 million viewers, and this year we had 13 million viewers. And it's not we that are doing it better, maybe a little, but it's actually the interest. It's so many more people involved in this. And we can do it, but we need to speed up. So the most important things all of us can do is to do everything we can to make things go a little faster. And if we do that, we will make it, and we will do that right. So with that, I would like to end this before we're going into the practicalities on how you're going to join the workshop by giving all the solutions provider here a big climate love. Maybe you could be in a photo or something on here if you move a little bit forward. Don't be shy. You look too shy. Come on, stand there. Because don't they deserve some climate love? What do you say? And you also can receive and send those if you go to We Don't Have Time. I don't have so that I could give all of you, but go to wedon'thavetime.org and you will have it. Thank you so much. And some practical information. The workshop will start 4:15. You can participate here, but also digitally through the app. And the different rooms you can find and interact with all the amazing solutions provider here is Room Live 1+2 E.ON, Room Live 3 ClimateView, and Room Live 4 MKB, and Room Live 5 the County Administrator Board of Skåne, and Room Live 6+7 Google, and Room High Live, this room, you will find ICLEI Circularity. So choose your solution to engage with, and let's do this. Speed things up. Thank you for us.